What's going on? You're in the Beat Sessions, your place for all things music. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's kick things off for the week of October 4th with this new record from The Smile entitled Cutouts. This is the third studio album for Tom, and Johnny, and their follow-up to Wall of Eyes, which they released back in January of this year. The trio's debut record, A Light for Attracting Attention, was released back in 2022. This is an outfit that has hit such an amazing groove since forming and putting out music. And I love talking about this band, especially with my good friend Keith Grevenitz, collaborator of the channel. And I love the point that he makes. I don't know if he remembers saying this, but he says that The Smile is more than, just about Tom and Johnny keeping Radiohead fans happy until the release of the next record. And I couldn't agree more. It's pretty wild to think that it's been almost a decade since the release of A Moon-Shaped Pool back in 2016. But alas, here we are, still waiting for that. But I would say that what Tom and Johnny are doing with this project is so unique and it's so fun. And, forget filling the void. It's all about moving into the future and just growing as artists, as listeners. I think that with these three projects, these three guys are throwing out music that has an air of familiarity, but it's also taking us into new territory. And that's super fun. A number of things that I want to talk about with regards to that. Talking about Tom Skinner, their drummer. I know that Tom York, longtime collaborator Johnny Greenwood, amazing guitar player too. I mean, he's really showing off his chops on this record, in my opinion. They're going to get talked about a little more than Tom Skinner, but he's an amazing jazz drummer. And I think that the nuanced feel that this record has, whether he's really keeping the tempo up on some of these driven tracks or whether he's keeping things together when the songs get mellow, it's really marvelous to just listen to him. And I love Philip Selway. I think he does a great job with Radiohead, but Tom is one of those, he's one of those factors that is creating that separation with The Smile. And I think that, he's doing such important work with this outfit, and I love him, love talking about him. I think that using Sam Petz Davies at the helm on production with these two projects is a big thing as well. Nigel Godrich is legendary. And, all the work that he's done with Radiohead and on the first record as well, he produced A Light for Attracting Attention. He's done incredible work, and, kudos to him for all the years that he's spent with Tom and Johnny and the rest of the band. I will say, though, that bringing Sam Petz Davies aboard, again, you're making a decision that's allowing you to take this project in a different direction. And I truly feel that if The Smile had kept working with Nigel, they probably would have maybe just found themselves stuck in this Radiohead-esque pocket, so to speak. And so you listen to these projects and you feel this band fleshing out of that. And I think that is important. I think that there's a lot of people that talk about the similarity as far as Wall of Eyes and Cutouts, all these songs, coming together in the same sessions. Same thing happened with Kid A and Amnesiac. I'm not going to compare these two projects to those two records because those records are legendary. But what I will say is that avant-garde, I don't think, is necessarily the right phrase to use. There's elements of it there, a tiny bit. But I think Tom, Sam, these new players that are working with Tom York and Johnny Greenwood are creating, especially in the slower moments. That's where I'm really feeling it. Not so much in the upbeat tracks, but in the slower, more mellow tracks, you get an improvisational feel, not necessarily an avant-garde feel. And I love that. I love that, just that subtlety that's there. And I think it's, it's certainly up for debate. It's a fun thing to talk about. I'm excited to hear what your thoughts are on this. But this is a record that, I feel like with Wall of Eyes, you get the self-titled opening track, Teleharmonic. It opens up very much the same way that Cutouts does. Foreign Spies, Instant Psalm, both very mellow, call them atmospheric tracks. And I'll admit too, Foreign Spies, it's still taking me a little time for that to grow on me. I don't necessarily know how I feel about it in the opening spot as well. It does feel a little slow, it does feel a little mellow, especially when you consider the energy the middle run of this record. I think Foreign Spies could have maybe found itself a spot on Wall of Eyes. Who even knows? But listening to that record, listening to this record, it's probably my one criticism of it. I wasn't crazy about that track opening up this record, but it is growing on me. And we'll just get into it. That is your first track, Foreign Spies. You got these big synths, deep fuzzy synths, and then there's like light melodic ones. So I like the contrast there. I think it's unique. You get Tom's vocal that hits to carry, other synth elements that enter in around 90 seconds or so, and the melodies continue to brighten up. And there's like little crescendos in the track as well. It like kind of builds and crashes and builds and crashes. It is an interesting song. I don't want to say it's bad. It's probably going to take me a few more listens for that track to really settle in and sit well with me as an opener, but I do dig it. Instant Psalm is your second track. Great track. Frenzied strings to open. I love the rhythm when it hits. Very chill track that carries with Tom's vocal. The string element is gorgeous. It is absolutely outstanding. Definitely a highlight. And I love the way that it continues to build throughout the song. And there's this section of the song where the rhythm drops to highlight the strings. And I think that that atmosphere that's created within the track is just superb. Zero Sum is your third track. This is where we start to rock. And this track really I got all the feels. It really hit me personally at the right moment when it started. Psychedelic guitar play and driving drums. It's going to pick up the energy. And it's just a really cool, I call it almost kind of like a trippy track. But it comes right at the right moment. It's going to lead into Colors Fly, your fourth song. On drum roll, minimal muted guitar. And then the bass is going to hit to drive. And I love Johnny's work on this particular song. He sounds outstanding. And I love when the rhythm drops. This is another track where you get the drums and the bass, they just kind of fall out. And there's like this texture, this atmosphere that's there that carries, and then it comes back in and returns to carry. And it's just it's really nicely done. Eyes and Mouth, your fifth song. Big driving drums, playful riff. Keeps the energy high. I really enjoy the piano. It hits us with this just like very nice jazz feel, especially with Tom's percussion. Great balance there, great feel. And the guitar work here really feels like Johnny was listening to At the Drive-In on this thing. I mean, and that's an outfit too that you think about how much the genre of jazz influenced their music. It almost kind of feels like a little bit of that influencing this particular track, and I enjoyed the hell out of it for that reason. Don't Get Me Started is your sixth song. Got these jaunty synths that play with this audio panning, getting the back and forth in the headphones. Please throw on your headphones for this particular track. It's totally worth it. It's Tom's vocals going to hit, song stays minimal, then other synths start to work in, and you get this driving rolling percussion that's introduced a little ways into the song. Big fuzzy synths start to enter. The coda enters into this minimal territory after the song backs off, and then you start to get more of this like tempo and textures that build to finish it. Really cool track. Tiptoe is your seventh song. Background noise and elegant jazz piano to lead off. Strings swell behind it, and the vocal hits a minute in. It's going to maintain this moody, kind of classic pop feel. It's a really unique number. And I think the energy too is that mellow. It's kind of one of the more mellow moments on the record. Excuse me. And I think it's coming just right at the right time, given the track run there. The Slip is your eighth song. You get these undulating synths, a little bit of like. Sounds like a synth textured cowbell that's driving the percussion there, but the drums are going to roll in to drive. Guitar crashes in brilliantly a couple of different times. It's really a unique feel. Love that song. No Words, your ninth and penultimate track, is probably my favorite. Light, urgent, pulsating synths, textures build, great guitar work again here from Johnny. Loving that. Just a stellar arpeggiated riff. It really is a beautiful, awesome rock and roll number. And then Bodies Laughing is your final track. I love that song title. Got these laser synths that usher in these unique textures along with acoustic guitar and bass that creep in. It's got this kind of flamenco feel. Definitely a bit of a Spanish drive there that's unique. Drums enter to drive. They're going to drop and re-enter as this thing progresses. But it's a great way to close out just another phenomenal effort from a great band. There's word out there, some critics saying that, well, maybe the band could have taken both of these records, taken the taken the best tracks and made one record. I've heard that said a lot. I think that both of these records in their own right are unique and compelling. And when you think about really who is at the helm on this thing, it's you're never going to get a bad record from these guys. It's an interesting thought, though. It's interesting to see, maybe if a couple of these tracks had ended up on Wall of Eyes, that more mellow feel on that record versus just like the full on pumped up energy. They could have released it as a double record. Who knows? They chose to do it this way, though, and I think that you have 18 songs that really are so special, so unique. And there's also talk about like this being the end of this project. I don't want to see that. Would definitely love to see another Radiohead album sooner than later, but I hope the Smile continue to work. They continue to do their thing in their own right. This is a project that's worthy of its own pedestal, and I want to put it up there. This record is a 7.9. I was just going to give it a clean 8 out of 10. We'll just do it there. Vinyl pleasing it for sure. An immersive, unique listening experience, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy this record over the weekend. Hope you find this review helpful as well. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2024, and stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.